Welcome. Ben France here from Benjamin France Music. Today, back with Lunchtime Lessons Guitar 101. This is episode 9 of Guitar 101. If you've not tuned into these before and you're just seeing this, basically Lunchtime Lessons are a series of lessons I'm doing on my lunchtime while I am working from home currently during the COVID-19 epidemic, doing these on my lunch hour. They're designed to be about 15 to no more than 30-minute lessons covering the basics of getting someone up and playing on this beautiful instrument. Not this particular one, but on a guitar. So whether you have an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, as long as it has 6 strings, as long as it's tuned to standard tuning, what we are learning is going to apply. Like I said, these are designed as basic entry-level lessons, so for people who are just starting out, just wanting to learn how to play guitar. I am, in addition to this, now getting set up where I'm going to be doing some lessons or being available to provide lessons directly on a one-on-one basis online through a streaming platform. I think initially I'm going to use Zoom, and then we'll go from there. So that will be something that I'll do on an individual basis, and of course those would be for pay lessons to go a little more in depth, or lessons that would cost you in order to learn more, go more in depth, and go further along in your learning curve. Why would you want to take lessons from me? Well, good question. I've been playing for a long time. I've played for a little over 30 years. I'll be coming up on 31 years this summer. And this instrument, the guitar, this is kind of my life. Music is my life. So I love it. It is my passion. It is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy playing. And also I enjoy teaching as well. And I want to share this love of music with others and help them kind of get started on their journey as well to learn how to play guitar and learn how to be a creative person and create art and music to make the world hopefully a little bit better and a little bit happier place for all of us. So if you are interested in individual one-on-one lessons, you can reach out to me directly. You can DM me through Instagram if you're watching this on Instagram, or through Facebook, or you can email me directly at benjaminfrancemusic@gmail.com. Like I said, those are going to be done if you're not in my area, which I'm in the Southwest Missouri area, kind of in the Springfield, Missouri area in the United States. If you're not in my area, we can do them remotely via Zoom or another platform like that. If you are in my area, once COVID-19 gets under control, where we can start being a little bit more face-to-face safely, then I would be more than happy to do some face-to-face lessons in my home studio space you see here in the Springfield area. Obviously, what you're seeing is the back end of this behind me, which has a couch and some things like that. Everything you can't see behind the camera, though, is pretty much a music studio space over in the corner over, it's hard to do, over here. That's really difficult to do. That is an art desk for my amazing other half. Tracy is a painter and an artist, so that is hers. Everything that behind the camera that you can't see, though, is my music recording studio space. I've got a pretty nice setup here that gives us plenty of room to learn and plenty of technology to learn together. So anyway, enough of that. With these lessons, the Guitar 101 lessons, like I said, these are basic lessons that are designed to get people up and running and going on the basics of starting to play guitar. They do build upon each other. So today's lesson is going to continue on building on what we learned last time, which continued on the one before, so on and so forth. You may be wondering yourself and asking, hey, Ben, if they're continuing on each other and building on each other, what do I do if today's the first time that I've seen you doing this? How do I get caught up? You can do that. That is something I've set up for you. You can go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BenFranceMusic, or to my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search Benjamin France Music on YouTube. And all of these live stream lessons are archived and uploaded on those 2 social media formats. On YouTube, there's a really convenient playlist I've set up, which is Guitar Lessons. Goes through all of the previous lessons, obviously sequentially from the oldest one to the most recent one. On Facebook, you just have to scroll down through the feed on my artist page, and you'd see them on there as well. So, that being said, let's do a brief review of what we covered last time, and then we will get into new material for today as well. So, last time what we were learning is we were talking about the major scale, and talking in particular about the G major scale, and the first more in-depth form of the G major scale, playing it across multiple strings. That goes like this, which is... Now, what we learned on that scale is that, like every scale, there are 7 notes in the scale. At least in Western music, there are 7 notes in the scale. And on a major scale, there's a specific pattern that it follows. It follows a pattern which is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. What that means, if you're new to this on guitar, if you're new as a musician, is that those are the number of steps you take between each note that you play. On a guitar, a whole step means you go 2 frets apart, and a half step means 1 fret apart. So a whole step would be something like playing from the 5th fret or the 3rd fret and then going to the 5th fret. That would be a whole step. A half step would be going from like the 7th fret to the 8th fret. That is 1 fret apart, so that is a half step. So our major scale, the formula that we follow for our major scale is to play, starting with our root note, we go a whole step, a half step, or pardon me, a whole step, a whole step, a half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, I'm playing that across multiple strings, so it's not as easy to see the steps in there, the number of frets, but if we play it like we first learned it a couple of episodes ago, on a single string, you'll see how that exactly translates into that formula, which is root note, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. 3rd fret, I'm going to call it by fret number 3, 5, 7, 8, so there's a half, 10, 12, 14, 15. There's another half. The notes on that are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G is our number 8, which is our octave, starting back over. So we also learned last time a couple of different ways to play that fingering-wise, because when you're first starting out, you probably know this guy right here, your pinky finger, is not the most strong or does not have the most dexterity by any stretch of the imagination of the fingers that you use on your left hand, especially if you've not played an instrument before. So we did learn last time that we could play that in an alternate form, play it in the same position here, but play it starting with our first finger, so it would be more like this. It would go, where you notice we're sliding our hand back and forth to play some of the notes. Now, I would strongly encourage that you do not play or do not practice that version any more than necessary, because what you're doing, if you're playing it that way, is you're shying away from using this finger, using your pinky. And you want to get that built up. You want to get where all 4 fingers have plenty of dexterity and all 4 fingers have plenty of strength in them in order for you to be able to master this instrument, progress on this instrument. So play it in the format that I showed here, where you're playing middle finger, pinky, first finger, middle finger, pinky, first finger, ring finger, pinky. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. The frets are 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2, 4, 5. And that is on string number 6, number 5, and number 4. So that's our G major scale. Now what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn the relative minor. Let me think. Would it be the relative minor? We're going to learn the minor version of the scale. I don't want to give you the wrong terminology, and it's escaping me a little bit right now. It would be the parallel minor scale. We're going to learn the parallel minor to the G major scale. So what that means when you say something is a parallel minor, it means it's the same scale, the same key, or the same chord, only in a minor form as opposed to in a major form. Now, a few episodes back, we covered chords, and we covered the difference between minor and major chords. So I'll just play a couple here so you can hear the difference. Major chords have a little more upbeat, positive, uplifting kind of sound. Like this is an E major. Minor chords sound a little bit more melancholy, a little bit sadder, and a little more downbeat. This is an E minor. So as you can imagine, since there's a difference in the sound of that, there's a difference in the scale too, because there are different notes in a minor scale versus in a major scale. So let's learn the G minor scale in this first form, in this little box here between approximately fret 3 and fret 6, or fret 2 and fret 6. and then we'll talk about that and how that's made up. So here's what our G minor scale, or a G natural minor, which we'll talk about what that means in a further episode. Just our basic version of the minor scale. Here's what it sounds like and how you play it in this position. Notice the difference on how that sounds. It sounds a lot darker. It sounds more stereotypically classical music sounding, as opposed to this sounding kind of upbeat and happy. This sounds a little bit more classical music. So, how do we make up that scale? What do we have to play that scale? So, let's walk through this real slowly, one finger, one fret at a time like we always do. I'm going to scoot in a little bit here so you can see the fretboard a little bit better. So we start out first finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, our low E string. That's our G, that's our root note. We use our ring finger, 3rd finger, on the 5th fret of string number 6, that's our A. That's our 2nd. Now, this is where things start to diverge. Our 3rd, the 3rd note or 3rd tone in the G minor natural scale, instead of being a B, which is what we have here on major, it's a B flat or an A sharp, the same thing. So it'd be there, there, here, which for that we play our pinky on fret 6 of string 6. So we've got 3, 5, 6, 1st finger, 3rd finger, pinky, G, A, B flat. So there are our first 3 notes in the G minor scale. And remember, just because I'm playing it faster doesn't mean that you need to. You're just learning how to do this, so go as slow as you need to. If you need to watch your hand when you do it, watch your hand when you do it. I'd much rather you go slow and get the notes correctly and play them correctly and then ring out cleanly, as opposed to trying to go fast and it sounding all wonky and not sounding like you're hitting the note right and not hitting the right notes. It's all about developing muscle memory, both here in your hands and memory up here to know what to play. So that's why we want to take it slow. And like I've said before, also use a metronome for this, which we've talked about, where you can get some free apps for your phone to do that. So, once again, root note, G. Our 2nd, A. Our 3rd, B flat. Our 4th is a C, so we go back to finger number 1, fret number 3 on string number 5. Our 5th is a D, so we use finger number 3, fret number 5, string number 5. Our 6th, or pardon me, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's our 5, yep, our 6th is a E flat, which that's another different note. Our 6th is flat, whereas in our G major scale, our 6th tone is an E. Remember, it would be... Well, now we have... So, go back through those. First finger, 3rd fret, string number 6, G. That's our root, our tonic note. 3rd finger, 5th fret, string number 6, A. That's our 2nd. Pinky finger, 6th fret, string number 6, B flat, our 3rd. First finger, 3rd fret, string number 5, that is our C, our 4th. 3rd finger, fret 5, string 5, D, that is our 5th. Pinky, our 4th finger, our pinky finger, fret number 6, string 5, that's our E flat, that is our 6th. Now we do 1st finger, fret number 3, string number 4, that is an F, that is our 7th. And finally, to bring it back to our root again, we do 3rd finger, fret number 5, string number 4, that is our 8th, or our 1st repeated, just an octave higher, another G. So, real slowly again. be a G minor over this type of chord sound. Okay, so let's go back through that one more time. We're going to do it by fingers, we're going to do it by fingers and string, then we're going to do it by note and string, and then we're going to do it by the actual name of the note and the strings. This is very important to know this stuff. So, starting out, string 6, fret 3, finger 1. String 6, fret 5, finger 3. String 6, fret 6, pinky finger, finger 4. String 5, fret 3, finger 1. String 5, fret 5, finger 3, your ring finger. String 5, fret 6, finger 4, your pinky finger. String 4, fret 3, your first finger. String 4, fret 5, your ring finger. Now the notes on that. Or actually, let's do what note they are, what number they are. So, your 1, which is your root or your tonic, your 2 or your second, your 3 or your third in the minor scale, your 4 or your fourth, your 5 or fifth, your 6th or 6th, your 7th, and your 8th, which is also an octave or just 12 steps, 12 half steps above your original. Okay, final thing then, let's go back through what those notes are. So our tonic, we're in G minor, so our tonic, there's our G minor chord again. Our root note is G. Our second is A. Our third is B flat, because it's a minor scale. Our fourth is a C. Our fifth is a D. Our sixth is an E flat. Our seventh is an F. And back to the root is another G, 8. Okay, so that's our G minor scale. Remember, like I said, that that's what's called our parallel minor to the G major scale. So it's the same scale, only major versus minor. So remember, G major sounds kind of happy, upbeat. G major sounds kind of more classical, kind of darker, sadder. So that's our new scale we're going to learn for today. We've already learned a number of chords. We've learned the major scale previously. We just learned the form of the minor scale. Now, just like we talked about previously with the major scale, the minor scale is the same thing to think about as far as wherever you start, you're in that same form, or you'll play that same pattern as far as the number of steps between the frets. And if you just change what note you start on, that changes what the scale is. So if we're starting here on fret number 3, on string number 6, that's a G. So that's a G minor scale. G natural minor. So if we move it up 2 steps, this is an A. So then this would be an A natural minor. And that could go consistently on and on. A C. Whoops, pardon me. So there's a C natural minor. So practice or play around with moving that around the fretboard to different places. And once again, remember, play with a metronome. Set it to a 4/4 time signature. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Set it slow to where it's something that you can play with where you're playing quarter notes, meaning every time it beeps, every tap you hear, you're playing a note. Something I do, and obviously I've been playing for a long time, but when I'm working on trying to get my speed and my dexterity up on something, if I'm working on a specific pattern or a specific picking exercise, let's say for instance this G minor scale, I'll set the metronome at a slow pace to start with. I play those quarter notes. Once I get where I can play those about 20-ish times consistently at that same pace with no mistakes, meaning that I don't do something like about 10 into it, I do something like this. No, if I make a mistake, I make myself start over. Once I get where I can play about 20 times consecutively at a specific pace, and it's becoming automatic where I'm not having to do this and I'm not having to watch each individual finger movement. Once I can do that, and that may take you quite a while when you're first starting out, then and only then should you increase the tempo or increase the pace on the metronome. Don't play through it one time and give yourself that false sense of confidence if I've got it, now I can jump it up, and then you bumped up the pace like, and you start making mistakes. That doesn't do you any good. If you're doing that where you're trying to push yourself too far forward too fast, you're just going to get sloppy. And if you get sloppy, then you're not going to progress, because you want to get where this becomes automatic. You want to get where this hand knows what to do, where you've got strength in your hand to play the notes you need to play, where you've got muscle memory, but where your fingers do what they know what they need to do, and where you have memory up here also where things are clicking, where you're not having to sit here and think about what's the next note? Oh yeah, that's this note. So you want to take your time to work through that. Pace yourself. So that is the new scale we're learning for today. We're about 22 minutes into this. So I would like to do one additional thing to give you all a little bit of an exercise to start learning on the fretboard, start memorizing the notes on the fretboard. However, I don't want to overwhelm too much. So I think we'll hold that till next time. Hopefully I'll have a whiteboard next time, and I can hear the collective groan out there of, oh, a whiteboard. It's like we're back in a classroom and someone's lecturing us. But hopefully I can get a whiteboard together before the next video, because what I want to do is I want to start working on mapping out the fretboard, meaning that get to where our brain knows where things are on here, meaning that we know if we're wanting to play a G major scale, where are our G notes on the fretboard? Well, this is a G, and this is a G, and this is a G, and that's a G, and that's a G, and this is a G, and that's a G, and that's a G, and that's a G. If you don't know that, if you don't have that obviously memorized, which I don't have all of it memorized by any stretch of the imagination, but if you don't have that, it's going to make it a lot harder when we start getting to the point that we start shifting around positions and saying, okay, we're wanting to play something that it's in a G minor, is in the key of G minor, and you're wanting to play melodies over the top of it. Well, we just learned the basic G minor, so it'd be something like, that's great, but we're kind of boxed in there. If we start learning the fretboard better, we can do things. We can play. See? See? Something you have to think about. And you get to, if you don't have that fretboard knowledge memorized really, really, really well, it's going to be something that takes a little bit of effort. And it's going to be something that will trip you up a little bit, as you just saw there with me. So that's for next time. So once again, just a reminder, these lessons stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 1:15 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's GMT, Gross Mountain Time, or pardon me, Greenwich Mean Time. I need some caffeine. Greenwich Mean Time minus 5 hours. So no matter where you are in the world, if you know what GMT is and you take it 5 hours back before that, that's what time it is here when I stream these. That's on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Just as a reminder, once again, you can follow me on Instagram. If you're seeing this on Instagram, I am under Benjamin France Music on Instagram, and that's one of the places where these stream live on those days. Also on Facebook, my Facebook artist account is facebook.com/BenFranceMusic. That's the other place where these stream live on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I do rebroadcast them, like I said, and upload them on Facebook and on my YouTube channel. You can just search YouTube for Benjamin France Music, and they'll be available on there typically by midnight of the same day that they go live. Additionally, you can follow me on Twitter under Ben France Music, and like I said early on, you can definitely reach out to me directly via email if you'd like to. That's just benjaminfrancemusic@gmail.com. And just as a reminder, again, I am going to start doing some direct lessons, individual lessons one-on-one. I can do those in person once it's safe to do those in person in the area I live in, Southwest Missouri, in the Springfield, Missouri area. Or we can do those remotely via Zoom or other platforms online where it's asynchronous, where we can see and hear each other at the same time. So if you're interested in something like that, please feel free to reach out to me via email and let me know, and we can get the details of that ironed out. So that being said, I hope everybody's having a great start to your week. Hoping you're having a great Monday, and I will see you all again on Wednesday at 1:15 p.m. Take care, everyone.